بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Dear viewers, welcome to Utawar. আমার নাম ইসহাক, আপনারা সবাইকে আমি স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। And we are talking about young leaders. Alhamdulillah, we have two amazing leaders and they're still young, mashallah. On my right, we have Brother Abdullah. Abdullah has done so much stuff in our community, most of you know probably. And now we're going to talk about his BBPI. Abdullah, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It's been a while. I don't know if I'm still young, but for tonight I will be very pleased to be honored to be young. আজকে আমরা এসেছি আমার একটা প্রজেক্ট BBPI, ব্রিটিশ বাংলাদেশি পাওয়ার অ্যান্ড ইন্সপিরেশন, একটা পাবলিকেশন যেটা আমরা 5 বছর ধরে আগামী ফেব্রুয়ারি 6 পাবলিকেশন করলাম, যে 100 জন বাঙালি আমরা কমিউনিটির মাঝে মেইন স্ট্রিমও যারা বালা কাজ করা, যারা আমরা প্রমোট করি, যে ইন্সপায়ার করতে পারে আমরা নেক্সট জেনারেশন ইয়াং পিপল, দ্যাট দে ক্যান লুক আপ to them as role models.
Fantastic. You know, on my left, I'm so honored to have Syed Ahmed Bhai. Welcome to our show.
Welcome, assalamu alaikum. And again, thank you for having me. I'm here clearly to support your channel, to support the community, as well as to support BB Power 100. We are also, behind the scenes, I'm working with Brother Abdul to ensure that we've got the right structures and processes in place so that we can really empower our community to engage positively to create positive results.
Fantastic. Most people know you by BBC. You know, a few years ago, you were in with Alan Sugar, and people enjoyed your every part you played, especially the 100 chicken you buy. Was it the chicken with the big turkey? What was it?
I can't remember clearly.
So tell me about your experience.
It was a lot of chickens.
Tell me about your experience on BBC, please.
For me, it was a great opportunity to compete with other young business brains, and you know, from a young age, I've never seen myself as boxed or cornered into a specific type of representing any minority. I've always seen myself, and I see every human being in the world as someone representing the world. So for me, it was an opportunity to demonstrate what I was capable of, and also to enjoy the whole process. It was an amazing experience.
How was you picked up? Is there a particular way of finding the right person?
Yeah, so it was one of the guys that I used to work with. Well, it was a few of the guys I used to work with. They approached me and they said, "Listen, Syed, you've got to really. We think you'd be great at this show. You've got a lot of energy. Why don't you give it a go?" And that's how the whole process started. But you know, then I found out that it was 16,000 applicants.
Wow!
So it was a lot of application. We had 9 stages of interviews, etc. So I believe it was actually tougher doing the interview stage than actually doing what was on screen, because on screen you've got the cameras and you can get distracted, etc. Off the camera, it was, you know, we had to go and do interviews and presentations and all sorts of group presentations, etc. So no, I really enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Brother Abdullah, I know I've been watching your shows. You used to be one of the presenter here yourself, and you're doing also radio shows. You also used to be a chairman of Stepney Foundation as well. Amazing.
God, that was a long time ago.
And remember, I don't know, Tata, India, and all that stuff. Tell me about the reasons behind you wanted to do BPI. And
I mean, basically, as you know, a British Bangladeshi community, we're about 650,000 population. Alhamdulillah, you know, myself and my wife, we've been both blessed and lucky to be involved in the mainstream. You know, I was involved with the London Police Authority from 2000 onwards, doing various government post 9/11, 7/7. I chaired the Home Office task group looking at extremism, and so I've been involved in the mainstream. You know, worked in the private sector, public sector, and wherever I went, I would meet fellow British Bangladeshi, and it's always nice to meet them. You know, whether it be in the corridors of power, whether it's the work that I was doing with my political hat on, or the advisory work that I was doing with government. and it's always nice to meet them. And then, you know, I'm from the East End. I mean, born and brought up, not born, but, you know, brought up in the East End. I went to Stepney Green School. And when I look around, and then I got involved as a politician in Tower Hamlet, that my younger generation, my brother's generation, or the youngers, the nephews, and who do they look up to? You know, who can I give them as role models? Who can I give them as realistic target? You know, I want to be like Alan Sugar, but he's not like me. He doesn't live in the same street like me. But I could be like Said, right? So I wanted to create...
Maybe he can be like Alan Sugar.
He's already Alan Sugar.
Okay.
In his own right. So we wanted to showcase that in our community, we have talent. We have successful people. And I don't mean success means how many Rolls Royce you've got in your car, or when you walk down Brick Lane, everybody salams you. I meant success in the sense that you've achieved something that has contributed to making, you know, I remember the Olympic Ocean, we have to phrase, there was a phrase, right? Putting the great back into Great Britain. So we as British Bangladeshis, this is our new identity. We also make Britain great by doing what we do. So in our publications, in 2012, which was the 40th anniversary of Bangladesh. So Bangladeshis, we've been in London for 40 years, you know, London is in UK. I want to also celebrate the achievement of what British Bangladeshis are doing to Britain. So we did the first publication in 2012, 40th anniversary of Bangladesh, 40 years of your father, you know, Said's father, my late father, I should say, have contributed to Britain in whichever respective way they have. But 40 years later, we have doctors, lawyers, engineers, politicians, the first MP then. So we put a list together of 100 people of that year. So in 2011, 2012, which people made a contribution from the British Bangladesh community that have made an impact to Britain as a society. So although we paid respect to the people of 71, you know, what I call the people who in Brick Lane who took on the skinheads in 78, we respected them, but this is about current. So we put together a list of 100 people in different areas, and to showcase to Britain, mainstream society, don't just look at Bangladeshis as restaurant workers, cab drivers, or living in a council house. Look at us as doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists. So we put a list together. Alhamdulillah, it was amazing. The response in the community from the young people, but also from the elderly community who felt proud that their sons and daughters, like Said and others, are doing amazing. So that was the beginning of
What's
that
Said in the list?
Said has been on the list consistently. You know,
Okay.
he's one of our superstars, a media star, he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur. So alhamdulillah, he's been on the list for a very long time. Our 6th year, we have to wait and see till February the 16th if Said is back on the list. You never know. But no, this is a list, so every year changes. Every year.
So I'm going to come back to you. How did you choose that list?
Sure.
Actually, it was amazing. Said bhai, you're a very successful businessman. So what do you do? And give us a few tips to get into that level.
Well, I think as you know, Brother Abdullah said, very successful. To me, success is the ability to live a life that you choose, to be able to impact, firstly and foremost, your family. As a British Bangladeshi, you know, we've grown up with the core values that I definitely think really distinguish a young British Bangladeshi from other successful entrepreneurs that I know myself that are not that geared towards looking after family, community, society. So for me, it really does work like that. So success is defined to me as the ability to do something that I love and enjoy doing. So in my business of Vortex, over the last 4 years, we've invented the world's first smart hand drive for corporate buildings. It took us 3 years. We built it from scratch. Our factory is in Bristol. We've got 2 offices, London Bridge and Canary Wharf. And we literally built the entire business brick by brick, and also the product. We built it brick by brick, from design to CAD,
Wow.
to the motor, to the plastic shell. And now we've teamed up with Intel, a global technology company. So if you go into Canary Wharf, into Rolls Royce, Honda, East London Mosque, British Airways, it's all our technology. So in that process, you learn, you build relationships, you raise funding, You travel the world. And you know, we've just done Shell in Qatar, the whole Shell building. GlaxoSmithKline in the Netherlands. We're working with different airports. So alhamdulillah, it's really started to roll. But that's success to me, not the money. You know, absolutely revenue is important, don't get me wrong. But success is to be able to wake up and do something that you're passionate about, but then use the profitability to impact first.
It's quite comprehensive success you're talking about. You've got everything in it. You've got family in it, you've got business in it, you've got money in it, you've got people you want to see, it's there. So it's very comprehensive success you're talking about. Do you follow a particular routine? Like a lot of our viewers probably from, they probably wake up in the morning, 12 o'clock, and they go to work, come back. It's not working for us. So do you follow particular routines that people can pick up on?
If I could show you my calendar, you'll see every hour there's my PA is my calendar basically. Every hour there's something. So I'm going to answer that question. I just wanted to finish off by, if I can, that success for me is, one, to do something that you enjoy doing, that you're passionate about, but you have to get up and build it. Okay. Secondly is that you've got to use the profits and you've got to use the experience to impact lives. So family, whether it's, so family and everything that entails within that, sisters, brothers. I've got 5 beautiful sisters. One sister I lost recently, but you know, it was an amazing experience that I had with her because I could impact her life by supporting her, by pushing her down, by supporting her decisions, basically. So then you go from family to society, to community, okay? You impact charities, you give your time, then you go to society. And that's how, for me, that's you know, that's within the realm of success. To answer your question, you've got to go up and build it, and you've got to be driven, professional. You know, so I wake up at, say, 7. I'm in the swimming pool by 7:30. Before 9 o'clock, I've sent out 15, 20 emails. I'll read the paper, I'll read the Financial Times, I'll understand, I'll read anything that's relevant within my sector to always stay ahead. And then we'll kickstart. It'll be meetings all the way through till 5, 6 in the evening. Some evenings I'll work until 12 midnight, and some days I'll, you know, especially Fridays after, you know, I always try to go to Jummah, and then after Jummah I try and have the afternoon off, go and have some lunch with my mum, you know, meet my dad, spend some time with him. So you've got to have a balance, but 100% you've got to really plan success. It just doesn't happen.
No wonder you're successful, man.
all the big companies, mate, you'd be surprised when you study them, whether it's Google, Apple, Facebook. If you want to dream that big, study those businesses, and you'll find that the reason why they're successful is they are #1 planners.
7:30 or 7 o'clock he goes to swimming. I'm sure you never tried that, did you?
No, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to lie.
No, but our office starts at 9 o'clock, so most people...
I was up 5 today because I want to do a day job with kids, my son's first day back at school, and I've got the BB Power on top. So this time of the year, in fact, you know, since last Tuesday, everyone's like, how was your Christmas? And I say, I didn't have a break. Because while everyone else's break, I'm actually working, trying to get the BB Power ready. Because to get BB Power ready in time for the launch in February, there's a lot of work. Saeed knows, you know, I pick his brain, you know, ideas, sponsors, speakers, events. So the venue, always trying to find the best venue in London. So
how was your experience? I know you went to Bangladesh with the BBPI.
Well,
I want to know that.
Okay, we've done 2 trips now with BB Power. We've done 2 trips to Bangladesh. So the last trip was in January 20, where are we now, 17. So it was February 2016 we went, 15, sorry. It was amazing. Alhamdulillah, I'm astonished, you know, coming from, you know, a small village and from Sylhet, you know, we know, everybody knows everybody, right? Someone has a relative or a distant or a cousin who's a Londonee. But to go back to Dhaka with a list of 100 amazing British Bangladeshis and say to some of those people in Dhaka or in Bangladesh media that some of these people are the movers and shakers of Britain. The top scientist for cancer research in the whole of the country is a Bangladeshi. The top banker, the 3rd most powerful banker in Royal Bank of RBS is a Bangladeshi. you know, obviously that year, the year before that, the first ever British Bangladeshi judge, you know, Shapnara, she's a judge at one of the most senior. So that was an amazing experience, because even for some of the Bangladeshis in Bangladesh, their perception is Londoni must, you know, battar hari besra, cab driving kora, khoshto horra. No. We said no. Look at the list of amazing. And that's just a small section of 100 people. There are thousands of people out there. If I could do a list of power 1,000, I could do 10,000 people who are successful in every sense. I mean, you know, we know each other for 20 years. How many people we know, alhamdulillah, doing success? But to be on the list of power, it's just that you got to have that little bit of extra spark. You know, I think the 10,000 Bangladeshi restaurants, these are 10,000 successful entrepreneurs. You know, without any knowledge, without much business, they haven't read the Google or the Facebook. They've just sat there and said, you know what, I want to do something, even if it is selling rice and curry, but I want to be a success. And you know, the amazing thing is, if you look at our list, if you dissect it, you'll see half of, if not more of the people have come through the curry trade one form or other. Either they're the you know, siblings of successful restaurateurs, children of successful restaurateurs, or if you speak to some of those guys who are lawyers and bankers now, you know, when I was 16, I did two Saturdays in a month in my dad's restaurant, or I worked in some cousin's restaurant. So I'm not knocking it. The curry industry has been the backbone. It is still there, but we need to now move away from that and look at other, you know, industries and other things, and that's what we're doing. So Bangladesh was fantastic. And then last year, February, we went to America and Canada, because we've got a growing Bangladeshi community in America, in North America, I should say. So we went there, 6, 7 of us, Bangladeshi journalists and my few of us, to also showcase, to tell the Bangladeshis in New York, look at the success of your fellow Bangladeshi brothers and sisters in the UK, and they're doing good. But the problem is, because USA is such a vast country, they're not like London. You know, we can actually meet each other very, you know, frequently. Over there is such a vast country. But inshallah, I have a vision, you know, a dream one day to do a North America Bangladeshi list, showcasing the success. So, because the other negative impression is that Bangladeshis are in New York cab drivers, or just, you know, the stall holders. No, Bangladeshis in America, in 2014, we did a list of 10 Bangladeshis around the world.
What are the difficulties do you face when you go in that line? Is a lot of...
It's difficult because you've got to consistently...
I've not been picked, or he's been known, I've not been picked, I wasn't in the meeting. No, you get that normal thing.
Yeah, no, we get that. First 2-3 years, there were some people, as I said, you know, Banglafara is a small area. Everybody knows everyone. But we made it clear that this list is not about what you've done in 71. This is not about what you did in 78. In fact, this list is not about what you did 5 years ago. This list is about last 11 months in 2016, what you did, what contribution you made to Britain as a country, what you did in your special area. So Saeed, you know, alhamdulillah, is successful, but he's just won another award, environmental award. Right? I've just looked at his CV, that's why I can tell you that he's gone from there to there. Just because he's my friend, he doesn't get to be on the list. Or we're not like, you know, also, Amra community was, you know, we have a certain...
But you don't get all the say, Isbah. You don't pick the people.
No. If you go on our website, bbpower-inspiration, you'll see I have 5 judges. I have Iqbal Wahab, one of the most prominent British Bangladeshi entrepreneur. Sahid Nahas Pasha for the journalist Nahas Pasha from Jonamot. Nahida Afa, who used to run NTV and Channel 9. She's also one of the judges. John Newbegin, he is a former corporate director of Channel 4. And this year, I can name Howard Dober from Canary Wharf Group. He's a friend of the British Bangladesh community. He knows a lot about the community. He's also become one of our judges. So those 5 people, obviously my wife is also the editor. She obviously plays her part, and I obviously make contribution. But in terms of the final decision, and the other interesting thing is, for the last 2 years, we've got the Person of the Year. Now, Saeed actually missed the event in 2015. We did it in Canary Wharf, level 39. Where we introduced the first concept of, out of the 100, one person is named the Person of the Year. So the first year was Judge Shapnara, became the first British Bangladeshi judge. Last year was Nadia, the baking queen. You know, like Saeed, 9-10 million people watched her as a Bangladeshi woman, a hijab.
Great
It was
achievement.
amazing. She was there. Her mum and dad came to pick up the award from.
And what was
and she's so proud as well. I mean, she is so proud for who she is.
Yeah, and what was really interesting about that is that at that time politically, British Bangladeshi Muslims were getting a lot of bad press and PR. I actually remember when she won the baking competition, you know, they ran it alongside a very negative outlook of British Muslims. And then on the other side,
the three sisters, the three women who went off to Syria.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I thought, wow, you know, what an amazing contrast, and that's what we should be standing for.
And that's what positivity. We did. We wrote to all the mainstream newspapers, and this is the thing. Our publication, although it's featured on all the Bengali newspapers and TV stations, and I'm really grateful to the Bangla media because this is a one story that they can highlight. But we then go out of our way to put the stories in the mainstream, Guardian, Financial Times, and other papers to say, look at the Bangladeshi community. The Evening Standard, we tell them, look, you know. So that story, I remember. You know, one page you had the story of 3 girls from Tower Hamlet who went off to Syria. Yeah. And then on the other hand, you have got this amazing woman, Bangladeshi of origin, headscarf, the hijab, and very proud, wins the most, most watched TV show in the country. So it was amazing. So that's what we're trying to project, that British Bangladeshi, we're not just in our own little world, we are making Britain better.
Brilliant. Said by, I know you go to also Sky and talking about news and in the paper and all that stuff. You know, we have a lot of young people, especially a lot of young people have been very successful last few years in education and getting good jobs. But they're also very frightened of newspapers, like they get headlines, extremism and this and that, different calling different names. There are some truth in it. It's not that none of us are extremists. There are a few extremists around, tiny little bit. But because of them, they're frightened to be saying, oh, I'm Muslim, I pray 5 times, or I want to do this, I want to do that. They're just walking away from their identity. Why do you think it's the case, and what can we do to get out of that limelight?
I mean, I think the way to look at success is that one has to be ambitious, one has to have something to aspire to, and I think this is why it's very important what Brother Abdul has done with BB Power 100 is that for me it's a access into, and it's confidence, because if you give young people and people that are driven platforms to and access how to access their dreams, that's the rest just drops away, because you can't change the media. You know, we can't be responsible for what's happening externally. So I think that's important. I think BB Power 100, it gives people something to look forward to leverage off, and again access to successful people who they can go and ask advice to, and the foundation, which I'm sure Abdul will cover, which we support as well, which I support personally, I think is a great way to empower those people, and I think that's going to lead to successes and more success. And I would say focus on that, because you know, you can't control what's happening. I think if we keep on focusing on being the best that we can be, and at the same time there has to be a good balance with life, with family, with Islam, etc. You know, and I think we're in a very strong position, because it's such a, you know, we've got a clear frame of mind to dream and to achieve. So I think what's important is to have platforms such as BP 100 out there, so that it can inspire young people to do well.
Especially in Utah, what we do is we usually get young people here involved, and a lot of amazing. I met lots of successful young people, brothers and sisters, and they are very professional as well. So it's a platform to show to the world, look, we're not just talking about Bangladesh politics or whatever we're saying negative line. We are playing a role. So yeah. My point was, like, when when the young people comes into it, they will say a lot of things. Look, I don't want to be in the media. I don't want to be in that part of that, because I don't want to link up with people think I'm a practicing person, this and that, because of the media negativeness.
Yeah, no, I think they should ignore what's happening in the media, focus on what they want to do. You know, I've been recently asked, well, we've already shot the video. I've been asked to be the ambassador for the new NHS apprenticeship program. We want to recruit around 2,000 people from the community. So when that was offered to me, you know, I was really humbled because, and the video will be available online very soon. If there's anybody out there interested, it's the NHS apprentice program. It's online. It's called Be the Future. And it's those type of platforms that really empower the youth to focus on what they want to achieve. Because I think if you are thinking beyond that, it's out of your control, and I think it's wasteful thinking.
We're just going to go for a small break, inshallah. Dear viewers, stay with us, and you can call us as well. And I'll see you after the break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.